Greetings and God bless. So, I was talking with somebody about Lyme disease, parasites, and I was asking about their feelings about doctors, and having gone to many doctors and then poo pooing their question about parasites, and they were saying, "Oh well, they feel like doctors are really smart and." They just didn't have training. And I feel that so we are going to doctors because the doctors are supposed to have health information. Of course, we know doctors do not have health information, but that is the common understanding of when you go to a doctor is to get health information. And the doctors themselves know they don't have health information. And the people who are experienced with doctors know that doctors don't have health information. So it is a bait and switch when we continue to perpetuate a system where the vulnerable at their most vulnerable, the ignorant at their most vulnerable are going to a doctor, and the doctor leads them on a wild goose chase for decades, you know, and it's not like when you start, you only go to a doctor because things are pretty bad. Most people don't have time to go to the doctor. They're not interested in going to the doctor. It's a hassle going to the doctor. There's friction set up in the system to make you waste all your time when you're going to the doctor because the doctor typically makes you wait an hour or two. Oh, because they had to work on somebody else. And this happens a lot. And when you're chronically ill, this is a lot of wasted time. And when you are in this lifestyle where you have to regularly expect the appointment is changed, the appointment is delayed, all this stuff, like your life, it becomes a series of inconveniences and you become trained to expect things to be inconvenient. So your very life, your very mentality is like, oh, well, I'm going to have to wait an hour or two, or I'm going to have to deal with this weird, sketchy thing. And, uh, and doctors, maybe they don't know that they do this. Maybe they do know that they do this, and maybe they feel justified and entitled, and maybe they enjoy the kind of dominion that they feel they have over other human beings. And yeah, of course, there's probably 10 good doctors in the world, you know, great. But the system itself is broken. And I am not the first person to say this. I am not the first millionth person to say this. I am not the first billionth person to say this. But I bet there are billions of people who would say the medical system is broken and on so many different levels, from the ineffective medications, from the corrupt insurance, from the poor building structures, of fluorescent lighting and no airflow and serving toxic food to people in hospitals and nursing homes. You know, there is there is just an infinite amount of flaws in the medical system and with doctors themselves because they are false advertising. What doctors need to be like is, I am here to prescribe you medications, surgery, x-rays, drug, yeah, just surgery, x-rays, drugs. I'm not here to really figure out your problems. I'm not here to figure out the solution. I am here to cultivate. That's what doctors are. Doctors are here to cultivate your slow, prolonged suffering because they need you to keep coming back. So they need you to be suffering and for you to become deformed and mentally ill. And then and so they kind of get some kind of control of your life. And yes, there are some doctors who actually do their job. Those are real doctors. And the majority are just warm bodies to work for the pharmaceutical companies, to do weird x-rays and um, prescribe unnecessary medications, that are improperly given, and that are that are contraindicated either for the patient's pre-existing conditions, or they react with the other medications that the patient uh, are taking, and doctors just don't care, and nobody cares. Nobody does anything about it. And yeah, there might be a onesie twosie activist that points out whatever, like hospitals should stop organ harvesting. Hospitals and nursing homes shouldn't, kill the difficult patients. And I'm not, I mean, this is a thing. These are things that have happened. It's not just with the current situation right now. And I'm really tired of people putting doctors on a pedestal because they are not better people than the rest of us. Um, just because they've suffered through a nightmare that they chose, just because they've generated all this money, um, just because they're just this prestigious thing. This is a picture of Dorian Gray. If ever I saw one in industry, um, like when you're going to, I don't know what more to say. I mean, it's just like the thing is, doctors hold so much. When we don't have our health, we don't have anything. Doctors have a huge responsibility, and they've thrown us under the bus, I would say. And yeah, there's a lot of things that they don't know. Like somebody was trying to tell me, well, they're ignorant, they're naive. They don't know, and it's their job to know, in my opinion. If you are a doctor, you should know about mold, you should know about parasites, you should know about Lyme, you should know about electromagnetic frequencies, you should know about toxins in the food, like the effects of um, food colorings, food dyes, additives like MSG. There's a lot to know. Yeah, there's a lot to know. And in my view, it is inexcusable for somebody to call themselves a doctor, to take the mantle of responsibility for somebody, and to be uninformed. And what is, I feel, is just an atrocity is when a doctor will poo poo the toxins in the environment, Lyme disease, parasites, electromagnetic frequencies, or whatever. I mean, and that is something that I experienced a lot, where they would blame my, like the first doctor I ever went to was blaming my lack of Christianity in my life. Was blaming my ancestors for my adrenal fatigue and health issues. And then the next doctor I went to, he was supposed to be a liaison between conventional medicine and alternative medicine. And I came to him with a saliva test for adrenal fatigue. And he was just saying, "Oh, I get tons of women like you coming through here," as if women with adrenal fatigue were some sort of like mental illness. Like, I had a lab that showed, and he was trying to tell me I'm mentally ill because I had come up with a diagnosis myself. And after a certain amount of time, when you go to the trusted agents of the public good and they just keep um, disparaging you, and the thing is, the only reason why you're going to a doctor is because there's some difficulty. Like, only reason why you're going to a doctor is because there's something that you cannot manage and those around you are unable to remedy. And it's really devastating when doctor after doctor uh, is is blaming you, shaming you, ignoring you, or um, going willing to use you as a test subject. Because I, after that second doctor, I went to a third, and he was like, "Okay, let's inject hormones into you," and I just was not confident about daily injections of hormones, and taking steroids twice a day. It just seemed a little dangerous. So, and this was like the best medical care that I could find at the time, and I've gone to many doctors since then. And I'm not saying that they've all been atrocious, but most of them have. Most of them like should not be um, dealing with the public. Um, like I feel like some of them are criminal, like psychologically abusive criminals. And because doctors are in this ivory tower is untouchable status, it seems, they really get away with murder. And it is murder, I feel, when you ignore your patients, um, when you're doing some interpersonal like power dynamic, uh, when somebody's sincerely coming to you for help, and when they have labs that show there's an issue. And the patient is not there to be the doctor's customer service person. I just noticed that people who are pro doctors are just like they just worship the doctor's coat, and it's like the doctors can't do anything wrong. And I feel like doctors are huge culprits in why people are so ill. And I feel like it's totally inexcusable that people are willing to sacrifice themselves and others for this cult of the doctor, this cult of medicine. Like doctors are not glorious gods. They have done so much harm. And I think some of them gloat. I think some of them like how decrepit they have made their patients, and I think it's shameful and a crime. And I'm tired of it, and I really don't like the people that push the doctors that glorify doctors, because doctors, yeah, they're human and they're in this job of responsibility. It's sort of like if people are like, well, it's okay if the cops don't do their job. It's okay if the cops let the criminals rob my house and rob my children's houses and rob my parents' house. It's okay because they're just human. Like that's exactly what doctors are doing. They're allowing various things to rob you of your health. Doctors are allowing various things to rob your children of their health. Doctors are allowing various things to rob your parents of their health. And so when your children have autism and your parents have Alzheimer's and you have Lyme disease, how does that work out? But because that's what it's going on. That's what we have right now. And it's because of the medical system. And the medical system is able to get away with it because people glorify doctors because doctors can't do anything wrong somehow. So, I don't really know how to deal with people who glorify doctors. And it's like, it's wonderful that some people have had good experiences with doctors, but there's thousands of people that I've met or, um, you know, seen vicariously on YouTube, on Facebook, and other social media where they have had just incredible difficulty with doctors. And even the people who have eventually had success, or even the people who do like doctors, they have had problems with doctors. They've seen dozens of doctors themselves, but for some reason they're not upset about it. So, maybe being upset, like maybe having a feeling, is not the solution. But I do not think that doctors get a pass. I don't think that doctors should get understanding for failing to take into account all the factors that make us ill, severely ill, chronically ill. I do not think that they have any right to be excused. Doctors do not have any right to be naive about current environmental exposures, about what we know, and what we know about like Lyme, parasites, EMFs, fragrances, food dyes. It's not rocket science, and probably if we spent any time in rocket science, we would find that rocket science isn't that much that very difficult yet either. So, anyways, I'm just doing a little rant, and um, if you've had difficulties with doctors, I just think that a lot of the problem is probably the medical system itself. And I think we should not be giving excuses to the medical system because it's an established system that's been around for decades. They have a lot of resources. It's not impossible to learn about Lyme and parasites and environmental toxins and mold. It's not that hard. And even if you just have the basics, you can help your patients a lot more than, oh, we got to just chop off a part of your body and x-ray it and give you some chemotherapy. And that's all they got. That's all they want to do. And, and I don't think a lot of doctors really want to be doctors. I don't think they want to be healers. They want to do some sort of control of people. And I don't like it. But other people do. Other people like doctors. They like the cult. And I think it's bad news. So that's my thoughts. Thanks for listening.